Hello everybody. Uh, Thought I'd do a video. So basically, I'm not sure if you all know Sammy G's World of Cinema. One of my favourite YouTubers. He's done a video of sort of double bills. So films that will sort of go well together if they were like screened at the cinema and like a sort of double feature. So I guess you could do it as sequels. I think one he had Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2. But I've gone more for sort of themes and things. Um, so yeah, shout out to Sammy G. If you're not subscribed to him, then go check out his channel. I also wanted to give a shout out to Stuart George's Home Movies, Blue Roy Movies, a classic name. Popcorn and Horror Hands. Been watching him for years. Um, Josh Fulci fan 101. Same. Been watching him for a long time. Go and check out all these channels. They've all got good content. Boutique Blu-rays of Elliot Cohen, Reggie B. Horror Baker, NH's Cinema Adventures, Tim Talks Talkies, The Horror Punk, Scott's Slasher World, Popcorn Chat, Retro Ghetto Gaming, and Blu-ray Mark. So that's a lot of the ones I watch with like collection updates and things. Yeah, Sammy G, Stuart George, Blue Roy, Popcorn and Horror Hands are ones that have all sort of supported my channel. I think Sammy G's like give me some shout outs. So yeah, obviously I'll shout out them to go and watch their channel, but I'm pretty sure they've sort of got more subscribers than that than me, so I'm sure everybody knows about them. Anyway, I won't talk for too long, I'll get on with it. So the first one I got so yeah, I would have done this, I think you used to be able to do it as like a community, like a what do you call it? A response sort of post video, but I can't find the options anymore on YouTube, so I'll just try and like tag Sammy in it or something. Um, so you got The Town That Dreaded Sundown and Zodiac. So let me get on a better angle. So Zodiac's a really good. Well, they're both good films. Town That Dreaded Sundown is quite slow. I think there's a remake of it. It's meant to be quite good. But yeah, basically, I thought I'd have these because even though they're crime films, I think at the end of both of them, no spoiler alert because this is based on real cases, but the killer was never found. Say Silence of the Lambs 7, they're a bit more horror-y and grittier, whereas these two are a bit more subtle. So yeah, I thought that would sort of go well as like a sort of double crime feature, but a more subtle one. But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, really good in Zodiac. I think that's what's it called? Does seven David Fincher, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right, I better move on because, as you all know, I'm really bad at talking, rambling on too much, and making the videos long. So now you've got Smile and It Follows, both two of the best recent horror films. But also, I've put these as a double feature just because they're both similar in terms of someone comes at you smiling or someone just walks at you staring. Is it a normal person? Is it the enemy? So they're both sort of done in a way, and obviously this isn't really a spoiler alert, but Smile, people sort of get, I don't think it's possessed or infected as such, but they just come at you with a crazy smile and then they attack you. So obviously it sort of plays on the paranoia and fears of being in a public space, and if someone starts smiling and they being friendly, or are they the sort of creature. And then the same with It Follows, where it's basically like, what's the word, like an allegory for like sexually transmitted disease, I think, from like sleeping around. So you pass it on to someone, so you'll be there, and this young kid can start walking up to you in the park, and you think, is he just coming in my direction, or is he the killer? But yeah, also another theme with both of these, if they weren't executed well, they could have been silly. So the smile, if it's not acted well, then someone's just grinning maniacally at the screen, it could sort of fall on its head. Same as It Follows, really. When you've just got a random like old lady coming towards you, if it wasn't done well, then both of them could have been sort of funny in a bad way. Let me move these over the side. Sorry if it's a bit wonky. I need to get a better table to do this on rather than my sofa. So you've got Hush and Dead End. So both really underrated films, I think. So Hush is a British film where basically they're going in a car, like a British couple, and they see like the back of a lorry, sort of opens briefly, and you can see a woman like chained up, like kept hostage. So they start following her. It's a really tense film. And Dead End, the reason I put both of these together is because they're both sort of road films, where the horror is sort of on the move, taking place on the road. There's a few bits I think in Hush where they're in rest stops, and in Dead End, there's a few bits where they pull over to the side of the road. But yeah, Dead End, I'd say it's like a dark comedy. So it's got Lin Shaye, who's out of like the Insidious films. Ray Wise, I think he was in a thing called, oh, if anyone can remember the name, he was Lucifer? No. It was like a TV series where basically he was like the devil, and he was like, this kid had a bargain with him and he could call him. I think he worked in like a home. It was actually quite funny. I think the main guy in it was the guy out of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Quite a lot of these are horror ones. I have got some family films and things. I thought maybe I could do a part 2 if this one don't go on too long. So As Above, So Below, and The Catacombs. So these ones are basically both filmed in the catacombs under Paris. So As Above, So Below, I spoke about that on my found. So that's found footage, whereas this one is just like a normally shot film. Got Shannon Sossamon. That's a good actor. And I think he's got Pink actually in this one. Yeah, pretty sure. She ain't too bad in it actually, but yeah, both sort of creepy in different ways. But yeah, that's the sort of theme of them being a double, is how both sort of urban exploring Paris catacomb films. Let me move those over there. Right now, you've got Tokyo Gore Police and Meatball Machine. They're both Japanese films, both wacky, both gore fest. Not really disturbing. It's sort of so ridiculous, the horror and the blood and things, that it doesn't really upset you. It's more like a sort of romp, like, you know, like say Brain Dead, what Americans might call Dead Alive, Evil Dead 2. Trying to think of some more, but you know, there's some films out there that are sort of Reanimator, that are gory and got crazy ideas, but it's sort of shot. I mean, maybe some people are finding this a bit too much, whereas yeah, I found it sort of more fun and like horrifying, really. This one's got a lot of really good creature kind of things where people turn into like half crocodile monsters. This one, so basically that, I think that's the girl out of Audition by Takashi Miike. So with that one, they're basically police and they go around like fighting all these like, I can't remember what they were called. Try not to look for too long, doesn't really say. Engineers, these people are called, and they basically go around killing these like mutants and stuff, like slashing them up with swords. Basically like a sort of anime film, like a real gory version. The Meatball Machine, these little aliens enjoy having games where they basically possess somebody, ride around in their head and use them as a machine to fight each other and then like develop their own weapons. But yeah, both really wacky. I think you've seen both of those. You know, a double feature would kind of make sense. Now you've got Censor and Evil Ed. So the sort of link between these two, let me move that, is both sort of film sense. Well, Evil Ed's more of an editor, but he's been sent to edit these really sort of strong, gory sort of video nasties, and just looking at the content day and night kind of turns him insane. And he doesn't know what reality is and whether there's monsters, whether, you know, they're hallucinations off of the film he's cut in, or whether they're real. And the same with Censor. I spoke about this in my Second Sight films collection, but basically she's a censor and gets into her head and it blurs the lines between reality. So yeah, both of them have the link of they're kind of working behind the scenes in films, and they are cutting. I mean, he's just an editor in the cutting room, whereas she's only cutting films that need to be censored. So yeah, I think those would work together well on a double bill. This one I've got a triple. So I could have had 4 really, because it's Malum, I think, is a remake of a film called The Last Shift. Not actually seen it. I didn't know this was a remake when I got it. Heard it was quite good, but I am interested in watching the original. Yeah, I think it's called The Last Shift. So the sort of thing linking these is, I think the Void might be a bit more in a hospital, but both of these are sort of set in like underground police stations and involving police in the stories. And this has 2 guys that are kind of taking over the situation. But the main thing in it is it's all sort of to do with the basement. So in Baskin, they go down in the basement. It's kind of, I won't go into what goes on in there, but obviously that's part of the spoiler. Same with the Void, they go down in the basement. They've all got a bit of a Lovecraftian feel, and then Malum, she's sort of trapped in a police station overnight. So you could also link Malum in with I can't think what it's called now. John Carpenter film, Assault on Precinct 13, I think it's called. So yeah, those 3 are all quite sort of graphic, but yeah, I think they'd make a good triple feature. And then you've got Ready Player One and Flight of the Navigator. So these are both kind of fun films that at their time were sort of quite futuristic, using like model effects. Both sort of family films. Both quite intense, sort of special effects. To be fair, there's a film called The Last Starfighter, which comes out tomorrow on Arrow, sort of 4K special, which I've never seen, but I've heard that's similar to Flight of the Navigator, so I would have probably put that one with Flight of the Navigator if I had it yet, but I thought I'd do the video now whilst the sort of thread is still popular, because it's only about 8 days or so since Sammy G's World of Cinema did his one. But yeah, both sort of family films, both really good special effects for the time. That one's sort of more in space, whereas this one sort of more they go into like a virtual reality. But yeah, I think they're both sort of fun films that if they showed back to back in the cinema would kind of make sense. Theme on these is both dream films, so I guess you could lump Nightmare on Elm Street in, but that's more of a slasher, whereas Dream Demon kind of got slashery elements where weird characters are chasing her, but very sort of surreal and obviously dream sequences. Paper House, similar again. Paper House, British film. I think it's a bit more about, what do you call it, lucid dreaming. I think it might be, Bernard Rose film. So the guy that shot Candyman, directed Candyman. So other than Candyman, that's probably the best film I've seen by Bernard Rose. But yeah, really both sort of dreamy atmosphere, well, nightmarish, you could say. Both really well made, sort of haunting sort of cinematography. But yeah, I think if you were going for like a sort of dreamscape, maybe even Dream Warriors, you could put on Bird on the Bill from Nightmare on Elm Street. I think this is the last ones now. I've got a few more I've been thinking of. If I do another video on it. So you've got Midnight Express and Shawshank Redemption. So both prison films, but I thought it's a good double bill because it's the opposite end. So this is a really gritty, kind of ugly, slow burn prison film, and then this is more of a Hollywood sort of action. Frank Darabont does The Green Mile and the Mist, directs that one, and obviously everyone knows Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. So yeah, it's sort of separate ends. I mean, I would have put Scum in there, a British film. I think it's like late 1970s with Ray Winstone. Alan Parker directed it. Really good film. I don't actually own it. It's quite hard now to get on like 4K and Blu-ray. I think Eureka or someone do a Blu-ray of it, but sort of out of print and expensive. But yeah, one of the best British films ever, in my opinion, Scum, and quite a disturbing, really realistic, sort of dreary. But yeah, I don't own it, so I wouldn't put it in here. But yeah, these two of the sort of best prison films I've seen. One I was thinking of, well, 3 films that I don't own. I own one of them, but I didn't bother bringing it out. But Willy's Wonderland, starring Nicolas Cage, where it's basically animatronics on the loose, and the guy's got to fight them. And then you've got what's it called? Five Nights at Freddy's. I watched that recently. My mate lent it to me on 4K. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought the drama sort of story with the people was quite interesting, but weren't really necessary. And the sort of animal gimmicks, what they call the robotics, were quite good in it. And then you've got one I haven't seen called Banana Splits, which was an old sort of 70s children's show where the creatures, the animatronics, come back and they're attacking people. So I think those 3 could sort of be billed as a triple feature. Probably a lot more in my collection I've got. I was thinking of ones you say The Thing, because it's set in the cold. I was thinking of like Wind Chill to go with that, or you've got Storm Warning, and then a film with Meg Ryan called The Wind, so sort of, weather based. And I was thinking of films that are in the desert, or ones that are in an airplane, and it is sort of you could keep going without stopping, but some of those have only really got a theme link in them, whereas I think some of these are quite well balanced in terms of, you've got, say, a gritty prison one, a Hollywood sort of one, then you've got like a kind of, funny like splatter film in Meatball Machine, and then a bit more of a sort of gory one in Tokyo Gore Police, and then Dead End, a bit more of a dark comedy, whereas Hush was a bit more of a sort of tense sort of cat and mouse thriller. So well, thanks for the idea, Sammy G. I was thinking a while ago about doing this kind of list, and about a year ago I sort of made my own double bills where on a night I'd watch sort of 2 horror film, watch The Thing and Wind Chill, so when it was snowing outside to get like that kind of wintry feeling. Then obviously you could watch like 2 Christmas films together, or obviously like some days nights I'd sit down and watch the whole of like the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, stuff like that. But yeah, sort of once I seen his video, it did inspire me. So yeah, shout out to Sammy. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching, everybody. Be back again with another video when I can think of a new idea. Thanks, bye.